Hi there. This is a thought for the day. And once again, I'm reading from Spiritual Emergency When Personal Transformation Becomes a Crisis by Stanislav Grof and Christina Grof. And we are still on the theme of ETs, UFOs, and what is really going on here. Many UFO contactees and abductees, along with those who have a direct, immediate, incontrovertible experience of the mysterium, the sacred, know what it feels like to be invisible to those who have not been similarly called or who are still refusing the call. This ambiguity is especially pronounced for those who have returned from the edge of death, having been declared clinically dead and having floated toward a tunnel peopled by beckoning beings of light, only to return to the living with an inexplicably radiant sense of being and purpose. Many near-death initiates report no longer feeling human in quite the same way. The ambiguity is heightened when family, friends, and various authority figures discount the whole experience. When I have talked informally with UFO initiates about these ideas, they invariably recognize the feelings of that marginal world. It is as if the neophyte glimpses something so profound that certain facts of life, quote unquote, facts of life, prior to the experience are no longer exclusively true. Often he or she is frustrated that others do not see that the rules of the game have changed, or that the old rules were always one of many ways of organizing perception rather than ironclad laws of nature. On the other side of the frustration of life in the margins lies a perception available to those willing to enter it, not being able to classify oneself. Let me read that again. On the other side of the frustration of life in the margins lies a perception available to those willing to enter it. It is not being able to classify oneself, which is also freedom from having to cling to a single identity. Living betwixt and between in the realm of uncertainty and not knowing can make possible new insights and new ways of constructing reality. In this sense, the UFO experience serves as an agent of cultural deconstruction, prodding us to take apart easy ideas about the supposedly interminable gulf between mind and matter, spirit and body, masculine and feminine, nature and culture, and other familiar dichotomies. Living in the ambiguities of marginality can be seen in terms of paradise lost, or as a refreshing freedom from having to keep a particular one-dimensional sense of paradise intact. We can mourn the loss of clear boundaries of black and white, right and wrong, us and them, or we can willingly enter the marginal, liminal, twilight realms of being, discovering face to face our unmet demons and angels, facing them, if we choose, as fiercely as they face us. In short, the game can be seen as one of choosing to enter paradox and live there, or as my friend Don Michael puts it, landing with both feet planted firmly in mid-air. Much can be said about this place where fuzzy edges present not just a challenge to restore lost order, but an opportunity to play in the vast polymorphous perversity of the creative matrix, the space where the trickster resides, part Mother Teresa, part Pee Wee Herman, where, as in the Grimm brothers fairy tale, Iron John, the wet, hairy wild man discovered at the bottom of the pond, is found also to have a special connection to gold. One characteristically feels a certain emptiness upon realizing how unremittingly our Judeo-Christian heritage has denied the connection between sensuous, life-affirming wildness and the experience of the sacred. But how are we to ground, to realize, real, R-E-A-L, lies, such ideas? By starting where we are, here, spanning the crack in the cosmic egg. By definition, transitions are fluid and not easily defined in static or structural terms. And so it is with UFO initiations. Many who have had such initiations feel that they have ceased to exist. In truth, they have ceased to exist at the level that they were familiar and comfortable with. Our culture, too, has gone beyond the pale, beyond the comfort and security of Newtonian Cartesian dualism. No creature, said philosopher Kumaraswamy, can attain a higher level of nature without ceasing to exist. People who have had a close encounter will tell me they have been forced to come to grips with the idea that the world is not as simple as it seemed when they were growing up with mom and dad nearby. They have had to realize that the world is filled with enormous vistas and abysses. How does a UFO experience accomplish this? I do not know for certain, but I suspect it has something to do with having been let in on the secret, the cosmic joke, with having seen too much, such that going back to a world of naive Newtonian atomistic thinking is no longer an honest option. It is possible that UFOs, the near-death experience, apparitions of the Virgin Mary, and other modern shamanic visionary encounters are as much of a prod to our next level of consciousness as rapidly blooming sexual urges are a prod to a teenager's move from childhood to adolescence. Both represent a death of a previous naive way of being. The privilege of being young, a young person, a young planet, a young soul, is believing we can remain innocent forever. But once the threshold into the marginal, not here, not there realm of being has been crossed, we can avoid dying to prior identities only by taking the path of false being, the life of denial. It seems perfectly appropriate to me that the UFO has confounded science, academia, and governmental investigating commissions. This very jamming of our cognitive signals might be taken, if we choose to do so, as a wonderful opportunity to stop trying to put Humpty Dumpty together again. To begin instead clearing out the noise from the circuitry of communication, the distortions that arise from individualized, limited, ego-oriented consciousness mistaking itself for the whole. Allowing the cosmic egg to stay broken frees us to begin backing out of the garbage of a profane culture, out of a way of life based on denial of a relationship to Gaia, Earth, whose continuous stream of communication we pretend not to hear, owing to the particular altered state of consciousness we call rational intelligence. So what I believe is that there is not much to be had in waiting around for an abstract solution to the UFO problem, as if such a solution might ever be separate or separable from our very effort to know. We have wandered far from our birthright, the felt presence of the mysterium tremendum, the mystery of being that makes you shudder. And only we can turn that around. Terence McKenna puts it this way: Gnosis is privileged knowledge, vouchsafed to the courageous. Can we summon the courage to receive true knowledge? So, if Gnosis is privileged knowledge given only to the courageous, then as you go through your day, gather up your courage, even if it's in bits and pieces, put it in your pocket and move forward into the mysterium tremendum and make a wonderful day.